Hey everybody, Christy Nix here with Soulful Aligned Human Design, and today I want to talk to you about emotionally defined solar plexus. Okay, so I am emotionally defined. Actually, 50% of the population is emotionally defined. So, you know, basically, someone you know is definitely emotionally defined. And a lot of the times with any defined center, it is a center where we think we're too emotional, we're too much. Typically, defined centers, you think you're too much, where undefined, you think you're not enough. So if you think you're too emotional, chances are you probably are emotionally defined. A lot of the times when we are not emotionally defined and we are interacting with an emotionally defined person, we usually stay away from the drama. We avoid the mood swings as much as possible. But being emotionally defined, we interact with life differently. We have that added level of process that we need to use in order to really understand the decisions we're making, when we're making them, and what's the right place, right time. So being emotionally defined and understanding riding your wave, which is what everybody calls it in human design, is really getting very clear and very present on how you use emotion, how you experience it, and to sit with it and be present with it so that you can allow it to pan itself out because there's clarity on the other side. And again, it's like the weather in Texas. Just give it a minute and it will change. And it's so not kidding. When you're having one of those low moments, I mean, because we all have waves, right? It's up and down. So you'll have really highs that you're like chihuahua on crack. And you're going to have that low where you're like, oh my gosh, my life sucks. I don't know what I'm going to do now. I'm so sad. Like depression. And really, my message for that is just sit with it and be present with it and know that it will pass like a storm. It will pass and there will be sun on the other side. The question really is, instead of what's wrong with me and why is this happening to me, is more about what does this mean for me and what can I learn from it, and be very present. Don't try to necessarily figure it out. Don't try to fast forward through it. Ride your wave. And depending on the gates coming off your solar plexus, there are different ways that that wave will show up. And so really tracking it and writing it down and really following your patterns, making note of the times when you feel really great and then how long it takes you to kind of come back down. Like individual waves are pretty even keeled, except for a spike or dramatic drop. Again, the dark night of your soul happens on a regular basis. But for the most time, we're pretty even keeled. My gate coming off my solar plexus is individual, so I'm pretty even keeled most of the time. But when I'm having a spike, my husband knows to kind of avoid, the situation and just let me kind of work it out. But like a tribal wave is just going to undulate. It's just going to be up and down and up and down and up and down. So, 1 minute you'll be really great, next minute you won't. So buying anything off infomercials is probably not the best plan for anybody who is emotionally defined, because we have buyer's remorse like you would not believe. Whenever we are spontaneous, a lot of the times we're spontaneous to buy something, especially the bigger the purchase or like coaching or something like that. It's something you really need to sit with. You really need to sleep on it. Otherwise, you'll wake up in the morning and go, oh my gosh, can I return that? So it's something that emotionally defined people experience often. In the blog, I have like 5 different ways to start processing that emotion in order to be present and to get the energy kind of moving and flowing and out of your body. Also, how to recognize it, recognize your wave, and start tracking in that pattern to see, when things trigger you. This is your process, this is your response, this is how long it takes to move through it. Because knowing that allows you to give yourself permission, give yourself space to experience it and move through it with grace and ease. And know that this decision-making process is there for a reason. There's something there. You are meant to help other people emotionally express themselves. And you need to do that by first knowing yours. So, before you can change the world, you first have to know who you are. So check out the blog, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Take care.